Have you ever heard a sales trainer or maybe some kind of sales guru say that the more pain you create in a situation, the greater the opportunity it is for you to succeed in selling that person across the table from you, whatever it is you desire to sell? Now, you may not have heard it that way, but you've probably heard some version of the pain needs to be greater in staying the same than it does in change. We've heard all kinds of things like that. As a matter of fact, I've said it many times. But what if your prospects saw right through you and they saw the pressure that you were trying to create as panic in disguise? They saw you trying to do anything you could to sell them whatever it is you had to offer. In this video, I want to show you why pushing harder could be the very thing killing your deal. And not only that, but killing the greatest asset you have in the sales process, which is trust. This is offering number 1 of the altar and the ask. And this series is designed to help Christian sales professionals succeed in the world by living out the biblical convictions that the Word of God has communicated and the Spirit of God has laid on your heart. And in each video, we're going to bring a question, a sales question to the altar and allow the Word of God to inform how we're going to go out there and sell. And then I'm going to give you a practical action step so you can actually go out and do it and not just theorize around what or may not be the truth. So let's dig into this ask. Would you rather close with conviction or control? And you may be asking yourself, well, Ryan, I've heard you say that we need to control the sales process. And I do believe that we do. We need to make sure that we are following a process that gets that prospect from problem to solution the best way humanly possible. But we can't do that through manipulation. I mean, too many salespeople continue to push and push and push when they just need to pause. They talk and talk and talk. I talk and talk and talk when I should just listen. You add urgency to an environment, to a conversation, to a situation when all the prospect wants is a little bit more clarity. I get it. You're trying to hit your number. You're trying to prove your worth. You're trying to get a deal across the finish line. But is that what success ultimately looks like to you? To just pressure your prospects into making a decision? Because as I said, pressure more often is going to kill trust, the very thing you need to get that prospect to agree to whatever it is you want to sell them in the first place. So let's take that question to the altar. Do I sell with conviction or do I sell with control? Well, I'm going to go to Philippians chapter 4, verse 5. The Apostle Paul, speaking to the Christians there, says, let your reasonableness be known to everyone. Reasonableness, calm, clarity. That's the model. Now, the Apostle Paul wasn't a sales trainer. He wasn't talking to a group of salespeople, but he was talking to a group of Christians, encouraging them on how to communicate, how to interact, and how to exist in the world. We see Jesus never ever once manipulating a single person into belief. He invited, he instructed, and he waited. And as sales professionals, we can glean a lot from that. We are called to the same posture as we live in the world because we aren't called to sell, we're called to serve. It just so happens that our role is to sell in such a way that it will serve the person that has been put before us. Success in sales looks like calm. It looks like confident guiding. It's not about control. It's not about manipulation. It's about quiet, steady conviction. And that's a hard one for me to take on because I'm not very quiet. But that's what the Word of God says, and that is then what we need to follow. So, what do we do with that? I mean, we are questioning whether or not conviction over control. We want to win a deal. We go to the Word of God. The Word of God seems to instruct us to be a little bit more calm, to be a little bit more reasonable, to provide a lot of clarity, to model the very things that Christ modeled as He walked on this earth, whether it's in our personal lives or our professional ones. And so what kind of action can we take? Well, here you go. Before you move into your next deal, or maybe look at your pipeline and ask yourself if you have been trying to control, manipulate the situation to get that prospect to agree to your terms, or have you tried to provide more clarity to help the prospect understand what was truly best for them? Are you there to control? Are you there to clarify? And you can go down your entire prospect list. Hopefully you've got a big one. And you can ask yourself that question over and over again. Have I provided enough clarity, or am I just trying to move this thing along? Do they have the clarity that they need? Are they truly understanding of what's at stake and how they can engage with us? Do they truly understand how we can help them? We want to do our job, but we want to do it well. Let conviction, not fear, lead the way. It's not about closing the deal. It's about serving the right people, because the more people you serve the right way, the more deals that you're going to close. The greater your pipeline's going to be, the bigger your sales number is going to be. Everybody will win if that's the way you handle things. You don't need to force the close. You need to guide it in the right direction, especially if you believe that every prospect before you is the one that God has put before you. Not guaranteeing to close everyone, but to serve everyone in the best way possible. So where are you feeling pressured to control instead of lead? Remember, you are a child of God. You don't need to manipulate in order to win. You and I were called to steward the process, not control the outcome. We go out and we fulfill the role that God has laid on our life, that God has called us to, and trust Him with the results.